أنا دكتور خالد وليد، ربان سفينة النجاة إلى شواطئ بكة القدس. I am Dr. Khaled Waleed, the captain of the ship of salvation to the shores of Baka, Jerusalem.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into something really quite intricate. It's the work of Dr. Khaled Waleed from the Almighty Covenant YouTube channel, Mithaq.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff. We're aiming to basically map out his whole system. It's not your typical interpretation. Think more like a kind of cosmic geometry built only from the Quran itself.
Exactly. He calls it the science of bayan, ilm al-bayan. And the core idea, as I understand it, is that the Quran contains these fixed mathematical ratios and dualities. Zawjiyat, muqasa, sacred pairings.
That's it. And these pairings, according to Dr. Waleed, explain everything from, the human soul, cosmology, even sacred geography and time. It's all interconnected in his view, treating the Quran as the sole source code, if you will.
So if you're listening and expecting maybe a familiar take, this might just shift your perspective quite a bit.
Oh, definitely. It challenges a lot of conventional thinking.
Okay, let's get into it. Where does Dr. Waleed start building this framework? It seems to begin right at the top, with God's nature itself.
Right at the top. He starts at the duality of divine names, Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. Now, commonly, these are both translated as merciful, but Dr. Waleed argues they represent two very distinct operational functions of the one God.
Okay, so Ar-Rahman,
Yeah.
one. What's its specific function in this system?
Ar-Rahman is the source, the initial generator of everything. It's the power behind the world of command, Alam al-Amr, the instantaneous initiating force.
It's like the B in B, and it is kun fayakun.
Exactly that. It's the command. Then Ar-Rahim, Ar-Rahul, comes in. Ar-Rahim is the one established over what Ar-Rahman generated. It's about maintaining, sustaining the ongoing management. This relates to the world of creation, Alam al-Khalq.
So origination and then sustenance. Ar-Rahman sparks it, Ar-Rahim keeps it going.
Precisely. And Dr. Waleed emphasizes that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one, manifests this functional duality in the world we see, the Alam ash-Shahada. But this observable world is just, a manifestation that originates from the unseen, the Alam al-Khalq.
Okay, so that fundamental duality command and creation, how does that translate down to us, to human beings?
It maps directly onto how we receive and process knowledge. This brings us to the second key duality, the Quran and the Furqan.
Right, and this is where he starts pinpointing things physically, isn't it? Like location matters.
Very much so. He connects the knowledge of the Quran, Shunan, with the soul, Anafs, and locates the soul, or Nafs, in the chest area, the Adr.
The chest. Okay, and why there?
Because in his view, the soul deals with experience, choice, desire. It's governed by mashia, or personal will. So Quranic knowledge connected to the soul is experiential.
Okay, so Quran, soul, chest, experiential desire. What's the other half?
The other half is the Furqan, Shohan. This knowledge is connected to the spirit, Aru, and the spirit Ru is located in the head, the Raz.
Head. So this is a different kind of knowledge.
Yes, it's foundational, immutable knowledge. It's linked to Irada, God's primary determination, the fixed will. So you have the experiential knowledge in the chest and the foundational fixed knowledge in the head. Application versus law, essentially.
Wow, okay, so this creates a kind of four-part human system in his model.
Exactly. You've got the physical body, the jism, that's made of the head mare and the chest, qalb. Then paired with that is an energy body, the jasad, which he links to the jinn. And that jasad is composed of the spirit, Ru in the head, linked to irada, and the soul, nafs in the chest, linked to mashia.
It's like a complete wiring diagram. A material body and an energy body, each with head and chest components linked to different types of will and knowledge.
It is. And this internal map allows Dr. Waleed to define two fundamental axes governing our lives.
Let's break those down. The first axis is
The head-spirit axis. This represents the fixed, the constant, the divine system. He calls this din, dines.
Okay, so what falls under this?
Everything immutable. The spirit, Ru, foundational knowledge, Marifa, God's determination, Irada, the concept of Islam itself as submission, and even fear, Kaf. These are God's fixed laws, Sunan Thabita. They don't change.
Okay, the unchangeable constants. So the second axis must be the opposite.
Exactly, the chest-soul axis. This is the realm of change, experience, blessings. He calls this Nima.
Nima, grace, blessings, but changing.
Yes, because this corresponds to the soul, nafs, empirical science or lived experience, ilm, personal desire, mashia, faith, imain, which can fluctuate, and sorrow or grief.
Yeah.
This is where we live, experiment, makes choices. It's where the turning over of the heart, taqallub qulub, happens. Growth occurs here, within the boundaries set by din.
So the head provides the fixed framework, the din, and the chest is where we navigate life within that framework, experiencing the me.
You got it. And the purpose of all this, according to Dr. Waleed, is revealed in what he calls the corn cycle.
Corn. That means paired or horn, right?
Right. Yes. Both meanings play in. He says the revelation, the Quran, starts paired, makrun, at God. Then it gets separated, mufarak, as it enters creation split between the fixed din and the changing nima.
And our job,
the believer's task, is to repair it, kornaha, to reunite the fixed knowledge with the experiential understanding within ourselves. And this repairing, this synthesis, is achieved through bayan, the science of elucidation he's outlining. That's how true faith is built in his model.
God pairs, creation separates, we repair through understanding. It's a very symmetrical idea.
Highly symmetrical. And this symmetry extends beyond us, into the cosmos itself.
Okay, so moving outwards from the human microcosm, how does this duality play out in the universe and on Earth?
Dr. Waleed argues the same principle of balanced dualities governs the cosmos in sacred geography. It maintains tawazun, balance. He maps us onto 4 key governing figures operating under 2 main lordships.
2 lordships.
First, Rab al-Samawat wa al-Ard, the Lord of the heavens and the earth. This governs the vertical balance, the connection between the divine and the terrestrial.
And who mediates this connection?
2 primary angels, Jibril and Mikal.
Jibril. He's usually associated with revelation.
Right. Here, he's the angel of the spirit, Malak Aru, operating in the heavens. He embodies Kamal Dini, the perfection of religion, the fixed divine instruction coming down.
So Jibril handles the deen aspect from above, then Mikal.
Mikal is the angel of the soul, Malak Nafs. He operates on the earth. He's associated with Tamam Nima, the completion of blessings. He manages the earthly sustenance, the experiential Nima aspect.
So Jibril brings the command, Mikal manages the earthly manifestation. It mirrors the Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim split.
Exactly. It's the same pattern, now mediated by angels.
Okay, that's the vertical axis. What's the second lordship?
The second is Rab al-Mashriq wa al-Maghrib, the Lord of the East and the West. This governs the horizontal axis, the stage for human trial, destiny, good and evil. And this is where Dr. Waleed's geographical claims get very specific and potentially controversial.
Right. Let's unpack that carefully. The East, al-Mashriq.
He associates the East with mankind's trial, with Shar, evil. And the governing figure here is Iblis, Uwaina.
Okay, Iblis in the East, but the location.
This is the key point. Dr. Waleed identifies the center of Iblis's religious rule, the Quranic Makkah, not with modern Mecca in Saudi Arabia, but explicitly with Petra in Jordan.
Petra. That's a huge claim. How does he support that? I mean, that challenges everything we know.
His argument relies entirely on Quranic geography and narrative sequences. He contends that verses describing events involving prophets like Abraham, Moses, and even the early Islamic migrations only make geographical sense if Makkah is located in the Petra region. He calls it the Babylon of the East, Bab Mashrikan, connecting it to the initiation of trial, al-Ibtila, and even the solar system, al-Manuma Ashamsiya.
Okay, so according to this framework, the East Petraeus axis is the zone of trial, linked to the sun. What's the counterpoint? The West.
The West, al-Maghrib, is associated with Kar, good, truth, and refuge. The figure here is Idris.
Idris, often linked with knowledge, like Enoch.
Correct. And the location of Idris's domain, the place of truth, is identified as Baka. Dr. Waleed is very clear. This is Baka al-Quds, Jerusalem, in the Palestinian West.
Jerusalem. So Petra is the East Iblis center, and Jerusalem is the West Truth Idris center.
Yes. And Baka Jerusalem is connected to the lunar system, al-Manuma al-Qamariya. So you have sun versus moon, Petra versus Jerusalem, trial versus truth, Iblis versus Idris. It's a complete cosmic map laid onto the Holy Land.
So this quartet, Jibril, Mikal, Iblis, Idris, forms the fixed structure of the witnessed world, Alama Shahada, in his view. Is there a physical line dividing these east-west domains?
Yes. He identifies the Dead Sea as the boundary. He calls it Al-Yam al-Qurani, the Quranic Sea. This sea literally separates the eastern mount, Ersenin, associated with Petra trial, from the western mount, Ersen, associated with Jerusalem truth.
Mount Sinai and Trey, another Mount Sinai. Ersenin and Tershana.
2 distinct mounts in his geography, yes, flanking the Dead Sea. And he locates the Al-Hajar al-Mashur, the forbidden stone, in this Dead Sea region, acting as the separator between the 2 zones of influence.
Okay, that's a lot to take in geographically. How does this cosmic and geographical balance connect back to our daily acts of worship?
Through the core actions of prayer, ruku, bowing, and sujud, prostration, he argues these aren't just motions, they embody the Danima duality.
Ruku, the bowing, how does that fit?
Ruku represents learning at Telem. It embodies the statement, Iyaka nabud, we worship you. This knowledge comes down from the heavens, the fixed dini realm. So bowing acknowledges submission to that higher fixed source.
Learning from above.
Yeah.
Okay, and sujud, prostration.
Sujud represents teaching or applying that knowledge. It's about transferring it to others, specifically those less fortunate than us, as he puts it. This embodies Yakana Sa'in, we seek your help in applying the knowledge. This happens on the earth, in the changing Nami realm.
So Ruku is receiving the fixed knowledge from heaven. Sujud is applying it horizontally on earth. Learning and teaching, worship and action.
Exactly. It integrates the entire system right into the physical act of prayer.
Now, this is where things get even more numerical, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Waleed claims we've been misreading Quranic time itself.
Absolutely. He argues that specific words for year aren't synonyms, but refer to different scales of time, one heavenly, one earthly. Ignoring this duality, he says, leads to massive miscalculations of history.
Okay, what are the key time dualities?
First, the word sana, idis. He defines this as the fixed spiritual or religious year. It's tied to the heavens, the spirit, with the dini realm. Think of it as God's time scale.
Sana, heavily fixed year. Got it. The other term
is iyam hus. This is the changing experiential earthly year, the year of blessings, nima, tied to the earth, the soul, nafs. This is the time we normally count.
So sana is divine time, aven's human time. Are there terms for larger periods?
Yes. He distinguishes Qarn, meaning an epoch or generation, but specifically referring to groups before Adam, like the Qurun al-Awwala, the first generations. This is why Idris is called Dul Qarnin, he of the two epochs, because in this view, Idris connects to these pre-Adamic times.
Okay, Qarn is pre-Adam. What about time after Adam?
That's uk, age. This refers to the entire span of humanity after Adam. Dr. Waleed estimates this whole to be, surprisingly, only about 10,000 to 12,000 years total.
Only 10, 12,000 years for all of post-Adamic history. That's shorter than many estimate.
It is, based on his calculations within this framework.
Okay, so we have these distinct time units. How does he calculate the relationship between them? This involves the day at God, right?
Yes, and crucially, the Quran gives two different lengths for a day at God, implying two different cosmic speeds or processes.
Two different divine days. What are they?
The first is the 1,000-year day. It's mentioned in Surah Al-Hajj, verse 47, and As-Sajda, verse 5, where Inna Yaman inda Rabbika kalfi sanatin mimma todun. Indeed, a day with your Lord is like 1,000 years of your counting.
1,000 years of our counting, so 1,000 ayam.
Well, he interprets mimma todun, of what you count, generally as earthly years, but the comparison is to a sana-based divine day. The key is the function. This 1,000-year scale, Dr. Waleed argues, is the time it takes for a divine command, Amr, to be fully executed in creation. The command, Kun, is instant, but its unfolding, processing, and the return signal of completion takes 1,000 earthly years.
Okay, that's one day. What's the second measure?
The second is the 50,000-year day, from Surah Al-Ma'arij, verse 4. Fiyamin kana mitru kom sina al-fasana. In a day, the measure of which is 50,000 years. Sana is used here implicitly, he argues, matching the scale.
50,000 years. That's vastly longer. What does this day measure?
According to Dr. Waleed, this is the time scale for the ascension, Udrj of the angels, al-Malaika, and the spirit, Ari, back to God. Just the journey up.
Just the ascent is 50,000 years. So if they also descended.
Exactly. The implication is that a full round-trip descent with the message or task, an ascension after completion for the angels or the spirit, would take 100,000 years. 50,000 down, 50,000 up.
Wow. Okay, so we have a 1,000-year cycle for the command execution and a 100,000-year round trip for the angelic messengers.
Which reveals what Dr. Waleed calls the 100x speed ratio.
100x. How so?
The direct execution cycle of God's command, 1,000 years, is 100 times faster than the travel time of the created beings, the angels, carrying out roles related to that command, 100,000 years round trip.
Yeah.
It shows in his system the sheer speed difference between the divine will itself and the mechanics of creation carrying it out.
That's a mind-bending concept of cosmic physics derived from these verses.
It is, and this numerical relationship underpins the practical conversion rate he uses for history, the 10.1 ratio.
The 10.1 ratio. Between what?
Between the heavenly sana and the earthly He posits there's a consistent 10.1 relationship. 1 sana, fixed heavenly year, equals 10 enam, experiential earthly years. Or, more practically for conversion, 1 sana represents 110th of an am duration when manifested on earth. Wait, let me rephrase that simply.
Okay.
To find the duration in earthly years, when the Quran mentions sana, you divide the sana figure by 10.
Divide sana by 10 to get an am. What's the proof for this specific ratio?
He points to verses like the one stating a good deed, asana, is multiplied tenfold, ashram palya. He sees this 10 times multiplier as the key, linking the fixed divine value, 1 unit of sana, to its experienced outcome, 10 units of asham. This 10.1 factor becomes his fundamental tool for recalculating Quranic timeframes.
Okay, divide by 10. Let's apply this. The children of Israel's wandering in the wilderness, the famous 40 years. The verse, Al-Ma'idah 5.26, uses sana, right? 40 sana.
Correct. Arba'ina sana. So applying Dr. Waleed's 10.1 conversion.
40 sana divided by 10 is 4. 4 ayam.
Precisely. He concludes the actual time spent wandering was 4 earthly years. Arba arawam, not 40.
4 years instead of 40. That completely changes the narrative scale of that event. Why would interpretations miss this for so long, according to him?
He argues it's because the distinction between sana and aram as fixed technical terms within the bayan system was lost. Without seeing them as different units on different scales, people just assumed they were synonyms for year, defaulting to the standard earthly count.
So the mathematical key was embedded in the language itself, waiting for this framework to unlock it.
That's the claim. And he applies this consistently. Take the age of reaching full strength or maturity, a should. Alapha 46.15 mentions reaching it at 40 sana.
Same calculation then. 40 sana divided by 10 equals 4 am.
Yes, 4 earthly years. And Dr. Waleed connects this directly to modern developmental science, claiming that age 4 is indeed a scientifically recognized point of major cognitive maturation in children.
Tying the Quranic time frame via the ratio to child psychology. That's bold.
Very. He also uses it for smaller scales. The verse mentioning the total period of pregnancy and weaning, amli wa filihi, as 30 months, 30 shahran.
30 months. How does the ratio apply here? Or does it?
It doesn't directly use the 10.1 Sanoham ratio, but it fits the system's precision. He breaks down the 30 months as a minimum gestation period of 6 months, plus 24 months of weaning. And 24 months is exactly 2 earthly years. A term explicitly used elsewhere for weaning. So 6 months plus 2 years equals 30 months. It shows internal consistency in the time units, he argues.
Okay, let's take these time tools, the Sanity distinction, the 10.1 ratio, and apply them to specific prophets, as Dr. Waleed does. Starting with Noah.
Noah's story is crucial. The Quran, Al-Ankabut 29.12, says he later stayed or remained a temporal measure among his people for 1,000 sana less 50 elam. Alfa sanatin ila kamsina aman.
1,000 sana. We know that's the duration of a divine command cycle, which equals.
Using the 10.1 ratio, 1,000 sana divided by 10 gives you 100 ta'am. So the total time frame associated with the command for Noah's mission was 100 earthly years.
Okay, 100 earthly years total. But the verse subtracts 50 am. Why?
Dr. Waleed interprets this subtraction as defining the active portion of the mission directed specifically at one group. He concludes Noah's 100-year earthly mission was split exactly in half. 50 years, olam, were spent warning the Israelites in his geography. This is the group centered around Mecca Petra, the place of trial. And the other 50 years were spent bringing good news, Bashir, to the Adamites, the group centered around Baka, Jerusalem, the place of truth.
So the subtraction highlights the 50 years focused on the trial aspect related to Iblis's domain, leaving the other 50 for Idris's domain. The math defines the mission's duration and its geographical split.
That's exactly how he presents it. It all interlocks the time, the geography, the dualities.
Let's move to the calendar itself. Dr. Waleed has some unconventional views here too, particularly rejecting the 7-day week.
Yes, that's a significant departure. He insists the Quranic structure is based purely on the text. The year has 12 months, Sharon. That's standard. 4 of these months are sacred, Arba et Turum. He identifies these 4 specifically as the months of Rabi, or spring, and these 4 months contain the period of the major Hajj, Al-Hajj, Al-Akbar.
4 specific months for Hajj, all in spring.
Okay.
And the structure within a month, no weeks.
No 7-day weeks in his model. He states a month is consistently 30 nights days, and it's divided into 3 cycles of 10 called Ashur, tens.
3 10-day blocks per 30-day month. Interesting. How does this apply to Ramadan?
Ramadan, Shahr Ramadan, is one of the 4 sacred spring months, and it contains Laylat al-Qadr, the night of decree power. The Quran famously states Laylat al-Qadr is better than 1,000 months. Pirun min alfi shahr.
Alfi shahr. 1,000 months. How does he interpret months here using his system?
He reads Shar month in this context as conceptually equivalent to sana, heavenly year, given the magnitude. So better than 1,000 sana.
Okay, if it's 1,000 sana, we apply the ratio. 1,000 divided by 10 is 100 am.
Right. So the spiritual value of that single night month of Ramadan is greater than the entire 100-year cycle of a divine command's influence on earth. It links Ramadan's immense value directly back to the 1,000-year day and the 10.1 ratio.
It quantifies its superiority. And he also links Laylat al-Qadr to teaching.
Yes, he posits Laylat al-Qadr actually refers to the full 30 nights of Ramadan, designating them as the fixed period for receiving revelation, a 30-night intensive teaching period for prophets.
Which connects to Moses, Musa, his appointment, Miqat on the mountain.
Exactly. The Quran, Al-Araf 7.142, states Moses was appointed for 30 nights, the Lit and the Layla, to receive the tablets. Dr. Waleed identifies these 30 nights as the nights of Ramadan Qadr.
But the verse continues, and we completed them with 10 Wat Mahal by Asher, making it 40 nights total. What do the extra 10 signify?
Those 10 nights represent the completion of the earthly blessings, the tamama naima aspect. Remember the dinima duality. 30 nights for the fixed din, the law Torah, 10 nights for the Nima, its earthly completion blessing.
30 plus 10 equals 40. Now, Moses made an error, didn't he? He hastened.
Yes. In Surah Taha 20.83, Moses says, Ajaltu, I hastened away from his people. Dr. Waleed argues he hastened by 10 nights. He left after the 30, before the final 10 of completion.
The exact 10 nights needed for the Nima.
That's the interpretation. His premature departure, failing to wait for the blessing aspect, created the opening for the Samaritan to mislead the people with the golden calf. It was a failure to integrate both parts of the appointment.
Wow. That ties the narrative directly to the numerical structure. Does this 800 or 3040 pattern appear elsewhere?
He connects it to the story of Moses working for Shu'aib, Jethro, in Al-Qasas 28.27. The marriage contract required Moses to work for 8 yush.
8 Hajj periods.
Yes, the money said, with the option. But if you complete 10 ashran, it is a grace from you. Fa'in at mamta ashran famin indik.
8, with an option to complete 10. How does this connect to the calendar structure he laid out?
Remember, he calculates 12 Hajj cycles per year, 3 10-day Asher cycles per sacred month by 4 sacred months. Shu'aib requires 8 of these 12 cycles. That leaves 4 cycles remaining in the year.
Okay, 12 total, 8 required, 4 left over. How do those 4 break down?
Dr. Waleed concludes, 3 of those remaining 4 cycles are the 3 10-night Asher periods that make up the 30 nights of Ramadan Qadr. 3 by 10 was 30. And the final 4th remaining cycle, that represents the 10 nights, Asher, which completed Moses' miqwat to 40.
So the 8 required Hajj cycles plus the optional 2, making 10, relate directly to the 30 nights of revelation plus the 10 nights of completion. It's all one tightly woven numerical system.
That's the essence of his Ilm al-Bayan, a completely interlocked system where time, geography, prophecy, and worship are all governed by these precise Quranic ratios and dualities. It's all attributed solely to his research from the Almighty Covenant Channel.
Okay, let's try to synthesize this. Dr. Khaled Waleed's framework, this Ilm al-Bayan, presents a universe governed by sacred dualities. Zajiyat Muqaddasa.
Right. Starting with Ar-Rahman Rahim, flowing into Quran Furqan, spirit, soul, head, chest, fixed, din-changing Nima.
Which then maps onto the cosmos with Jibril Mikal, vertical, and Iblis Sidris, horizontal, pinpointing Makkah in Petra, East Trial, and Baka in Jerusalem, West Truth, separated by the Dead Sea. And
this whole structure operates on specific timescales, distinguishing the heavenly sana from the earthly Adam with a fundamental 10.1 conversion ratio, plus the 100.1 speed ratio between God's command execution and angelic movement based on the 1,000-year and 50,000-year days at God.
The implications are just huge. If this 10.1 ratio holds, as Dr. Waleed asserts based on his analysis, then key historical periods like the Israelites wandering 4 years, not 40, or the age of maturity, 4 years old, are radically different from common understanding.
It suggests centuries of miscalculation simply by missing the technical distinction between Sana and Akam. It reframes biblical and Quranic history entirely.
And the geographical claims are equally transformative, relocating the spiritual centers of trial and truth to Petra and Jerusalem, respectively.
Yes, and this leads directly to his ultimate conclusion regarding guidance. He asserts that the true location of the straight path, Anarai al-Mustaqim, is geographically fixed.
Where exactly?
Baka al-Quds, Jerusalem, Palestine. The western Maghribi center associated with Idris and Kar. Good. He states it clearly. ثم وجهها الله بباقة القدس أرتو اللواء المستقيم. Then God directed to Baqa al-Quds, the land of the straight path.
So the final provocation for you, the listener, based entirely on Dr. Waleed's intricate framework is this. If the geography of faith, the very location of the straight path, is this specific, this mathematically and geographically defined,
How does that change your understanding of your own spiritual journey? Does finding certainty require engaging with this specific map, this precise location identified as the center of truth?
it's a challenging thought suggesting the path isn't just internal, but might have a fixed external geographical anchor point in Jerusalem, according to this very specific interpretation. Lots to think about there.
أنا دكتور خالد وليد، ربان سفينة النجاة إلى شواطئ بكة القدس. I am Dr. Khaled Waleed, the captain of the ship of salvation to the shores of Baqa, Jerusalem.